Welcome to Grandma Reads. Grandma reads because reading energizes and develops soul. I will be reading The Brilliant Miss Bangle. The Brilliant Miss Bangle, written by Cara Devins and illustrated by K-Fai Steele. It was the very first day of school at Belford Elementary, and the students were so excited to be back. They jumped rope on the playground, unpacked their pencil cases, and greeted their friends. Over the summer, I saw 6 seagulls at the beach, exclaimed Bertie Fisk. I rode in a car for a long time to visit my Aunt Chelsea, Marty bragged. She has a poodle named Pepper. And I ate hot sauce by accident, admitted Putnam McFarlane, and I didn't like it. Summer sure was fun, but everyone agreed it was great to get back to school. Just as the students settled in, however, they were told some alarming news. The school librarian, Miss Stack, had moved away over the summer. That can't be, yelped Bertie. She was my favorite, moaned Marty. Now, said Principal Lyle, we have a new librarian named Miss Bangle, and I think you are going to like her. Not me, muttered Putnam McFarlane. Clearly, you mean not I, corrected Principal Lyle. Putnam rolled his eyes. Clearly, Principal Lyle did not understand. The students talked about how much they loved Miss Stack. She was so nice. She smelled like cinnamon and was always smiling. And last year, she led the students in making bookmarks. Bertie still had hers. Nope, no one could replace Miss Stack. Together, the kids hatched a plan. They were not They would not welcome Miss Bangle. They would refuse, refuse to read until Miss Stack came back. Everyone loved the plan. Later, when it came time to go to the library, the students exchanged glances. Then they filed into the library and took their seats. Where was Miss Bangle? They wondered. Maybe she'd heard about their plan and simply gone home. That would be lucky. But all of a sudden, the door swung open and in walked Miss Bangle. The students could tell immediately that she was very different from Miss Stack. Good afternoon, children. I'm the new librarian, Miss Bangle. Here are a few things to know about me. My middle name is Matilda. I've been to Spain 3 times, and I love peaches. Is there anything you would like to tell me about you? Bertie wanted to tell Miss Bangle that she loved peaches too, but she didn't. Instead, she looked down at her shoes. Okay, well, I guess I'll just have to learn as we go. If there's one thing I always say it's never too late to learn, and you should never have soup before noon. Oops, that's two things. The students had never heard that fact about soup. They really wanted to smile, but they knew better. So, which story should we read today? Asked Miss Bangles. Nobody answered. Marty purposely stared out the window and watched the kindergartners play in the leaves. Miss Bangle looked around and picked up an old dusty book. How about this one? It's called The Rise of Lithographic Printing in 18th Century England. Marty sniffled a little. Silly me, said Miss Bangle. You've probably already read that. What else is there? Miss Bangle picked up a brochure. How about this? It's the town parking policies for holidays. Did you know there's no parking on Celery Street during parades? Bertie thought this was hilarious, but she couldn't let on. In order to stop herself from laughing, she bit down on her lip. Oh, she exclaimed. Or I guess we could read this book, Daisy at the Lagoon. Miss Bangle held up a book that looked truly terrific. Putnam had never read it and desperately wanted to know what was going to happen with Daisy at the lagoon, but he knew they couldn't read it. We don't want to read with you, blurted Putnam. You're not Miss Stack. We love Miss Stack and we want her back. Miss Bangle took a deep breath. Oh, I see. She thought for a moment. The students wondered what she would say next. I wish I could change your minds, she said, but I know I cannot. No, you can't, agreed Bertie. I guess this isn't the worst thing, said Miss Bangle. I have some odds and ends to take care of, a few emails to answer, a pair of pants to hem. Oh, and I should call my dear friend Darcia to see how she's recovering from rotator cuff surgery. What's rotator cuff surgery? Wondered Marty. All righty, said Miss Bangle, standing up. I'm going to leave you kids over here, but I do need to assign you a few library tasks. Since you've given me the afternoon off, of course, said Putnam, wondering what they would be. First, I'll need you to sort these and put them all back. Miss Bangle pointed to a large pile of books. Marty gulped. Next, I'll need you to take these empty boxes down to the basement. Our new books arrived in them, but now they're just cluttering up the place. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's clutter and burnt popcorn. Oops, that's two things. Putnam didn't like burnt popcorn either, but he wasn't about to say so. And lastly, Principal Lyle needs your help later to review lesson plans for the fourth and fifth graders. You don't need to finalize them, but you should get close. Bertie had no idea how to make a lesson plan. She knew how to make toast and say hello in sign language, but neither of those things seemed particularly helpful right now. Gracias, said Miss Bangle. That's how they say thank you in Spain. She skipped to her desk and picked up her phone, presumably to call Darsha. I don't want to go down to the basement, but I don't know how to make a lesson plan, announced Bertie. Okay, I'll make the lesson plans, said Marty, but I'm not going to the basement. Well, why should I go to the basement? Putnam demanded to know. I've heard it's dark and smells like lima beans. The students were exasperated. They looked over at Miss Bangle, who had to admit looked pretty happy. All right, said Putnam. How about we all go to the basement together after we put the books away and do lesson plans? A few minutes into sorting books, however, Bertie began to get bored. This is no fun. I think I'd like to read with Miss Bangle, she whispered. Me too, added Marty quickly. Putnam hated to admit it, but he agreed. Together, the students approached Miss Bangle, who jumped when she saw them. Oh, hello, she said. I forgot you children were even here. Have you had any luck with the lesson plans? Miss Bangle, we think we might like to read with you after all, said Bertie. We know you're not Miss Stat, but you do seem nice and funny, piped up Putnam. Miss Bangle smiled. Well, okay, she said. I'll just have to finish hemming these pants later on. If there's one thing I won't stand for, it's pants that don't fit and birthday cakes without candles. Oops, that's two things. I keep doing that. The students roared with laughter. They all took their seats in the reading circle and listened intently as Miss Bangle read Daisy at the Lagoon. Later on, the students began to wonder if pretending she didn't want to read with them had been Miss Bangle's plan all along. If so, they had to admit that her plan was brilliant. So remember 321, three books that you will read this week. Oops, said that wrong. I must be like Miss Bangle. Three things you learned as a result of hearing the book read. Two things you will do as a result of hearing the book read. And one book you will read this week.